So, you finally pre-ordered the Switch 2. Congratulations. Now, what are you supposed to get on launch day? Maybe this is your first console. You've never actually been able to buy a console by yourself before. So, what do you need to pre-order for this upcoming release of the Switch 2, which is releasing, by the way, on June 5th, 2025, which is only really a month away. So for today's video, I'll be going over what I have already pre-ordered, as well as the list of pre-orders that are going to be available, and hopefully my discussion with you guys can kind of steer you in the right direction on whether or not you want to pre-order something, because at the end of the day, this is one of the more expensive consoles that I've ever actually purchased myself. So stay right where you are, stay tuned right here, right now. You're watching The Average Joe Show. Let's go talk about some pre-orders. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we are talking about the Nintendo Switch pre-orders. I hope everyone that has wanted to pre-order has got one. That first launch day was terrible. I already made a video on it. My experience was bad. However, we got the Switch 2. That's all that really matters. It looks like there's been some constant restocking on the Switch 2 from multiple sellers. They kind of come and then they go really quickly, but it is still very possible to obtain this system. What I ended up pre-ordering is from Best Buy, so I'll go through my list of, we'll start with the console and some of the accessories and stuff, because there was quite a bit of accessories that were available from Best Buy. Other things are going to be available on a later date. Other things are going to be available just on the Nintendo store. So what I ended up getting what I would recommend getting first, of course, would be the Switch 2, but we're going to just put that aside for a second. The first thing that I really wanted to get on pre-order is actually going to be the Switch 2 Pro controller. Now, the Pro controller, the regular one, is one of my favorite controllers of all time. It is very comfortable. I don't think of any other controller that really outbeats it from Nintendo. I know a lot of people like the GameCube controllers. I would say GameCube is my second, but it is a non-traditional controller. What the Switch 2 Pro controller really does is it modernizes even further that controller. So the Switch 2 controller has 2 extra buttons on the back, kind of like if you're getting like a PS5 Pro controller, where you're able to have or Xbox Pro controller have the buttons on the back. And it also has the capture button, or talking button, whatever that is. We're going to be looking at that when that comes out, because I'm curious to see how that's going to work. But it also has a microphone jack, which is one of the main things that you all should be very excited for, because Nintendo has never really had a controller besides the main console itself. I had to check my Wii U controller to see if it had a headphone jack. The Wii U main controller had an audio jack, but I mean, this thing's so big, you really couldn't tell. But Nintendo has really never been that kind of company to really go all in on game chat and stuff. So it's really nice to see that I can finally play games very traditionally, like I'm playing my PlayStation, like I'm playing my Xbox, start at the games, and it feels like a very traditional experience. I'm assuming that everything's gonna feel very similar to the Pro Controller 1, and the shocking thing is that it was starting at $80. It's only gone up $5 for the tariff, so I wonder if they were able to get more of a stock on hand before all the tariff stuff happened, or maybe the components, a lot of them are actually made here, so it's going to be cheaper than actually getting 2 pairs of the new Joy-Con 2s. So that was definitely high on my list, and I got that. I'm super excited to try that out. And the next thing that I'll go over is actually going to be the Facecam. So it seems like it's just going to be a regular Facecam. The only reason why I really got it was because I don't have a Facecam. I use my phone for all my recordings, and for my opening videos, I have a separate iPhone that I use while I'm recording the opening on my phone. So it'd be nice for me, probably not nice for others. It was only, I think it was like 40 bucks. I'm guessing it is just standard. Plus, they got Super Mario Party Jamboree, which I didn't buy for the Switch 1. Having the Switch 2 edition, when they've really marketed that game for the Facecam, with the Facecam, and I might just go out on a limb and say, this Facecam thing seems very wacky with how it's like almost like a Discord call. And I'm just interested to see the absolute horror that is going to be this whole online experience with your friends. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be very slow paced funny, but it's gonna be interesting. So I kind of wanted to try it out, get a few laughs out of it, but it might just turn into just something that isn't worth it. So I wouldn't say that it is definitely necessary, but I ended up getting it for the opening on this channel, as well as some further laughs down the line. Moving on. So here's a tough one. There's two controllers that I'm actually not gonna get. The first is actually gonna be a second pair of Switch 2 Joy-Cons. I don't think I really need them, and they are at $90. I know I said the Pro controller is at 85, which is almost 90, but it's not 90, and I would definitely be using the Pro controller more than the extra set of Joy-Cons. That's the thing. So they're new controllers, right? One of the main things is mouse mode. They made the buttons bigger because the Switch is bigger. The thing is that you can have the Switch 1 controllers that you already have be used as extra controllers, and I already have a couple sets of these controllers. I've never understood why the Joy-Cons are more expensive than like the actual controllers. Probably has to do with like all the funny tech that kind of has to go into it, you know, like the motion sensor stuff and the IR sensor stuff, and now it's going to be the mouse mode stuff. But I just don't see the point of putting $90 into something that I have 3 times over. I don't see multiplayer mouse mode, which is like the big draw to these controllers, the new Nintendo thing, the mouse modes. I don't see multiplayer mouse mode really taking off. I will have to wait and see, but I just feel like most mouse games are played single playerly. I don't think it's going to be for every single person. I think some people just aren't going to try it. I think it's cool. You have to have that PC kind of discipline and experience in you to really test it out, and I can't wait to test it out. But anyway, I would stay away for that for now. See what comes with the console, the 2 that come with the console, and if you like it, and I guess if you have other people that like it as well, I guess go in on it. But I would really say that is definitely not even on my list to get even in the near future. The second one is, which is, it's a shame because I already said it earlier in the video that the GameCube controller is probably my second favorite controller, but it is the NSO release of their own GameCube controller. It is another actual GameCube controller released by Nintendo in a more recent era. The last time I bought a Nintendo brand GameCube controller was when Smash Brothers Ultimate came out, and they released their Smash controller, you know, because it's iconic to the game, and honestly it is the best way to play that game. The NSO expansion is already really good. It's going to be even greater with like the Switch 2 editions. So when you subscribe to the expansion pass, you get NES games, you get SNES games, you get Game Boy games, and Nintendo has released NES controllers that are like Switch controllers, its own SNES controller, and the Nintendo 64 controller. So when the Nintendo 64 one came out, and this is just for a reminder for anyone that has forgotten, when Nintendo 64 dropped, you could not get the NSO and 64 controller on the website. It took a long time for that to be in stock. Now you can go in and get it just fine, but on release it's very, very hard to get it. So this controller is no different than a regular GameCube controller. It is purple, not one of the colored ones, and it is left, right, Z, all that kind of stuff. Now I guess on the top it does have the game chat, the C button, which is going to be the only new one, but there's no wires. You don't attach it with a wire. It is just a remote one. And for $65 on release date, I would probably rather use that money in going towards some digital games to get some kind of game library going versus another controller, which if you guys have the Smash Bros Ultimate controller, you also had the connector. We will be able to connect through the USB ports and just play the game regularly, as well as the fact that I'm bringing back the Nintendo Switch Pro 2 controller. It has those back buttons, so you can kind of map the Z button if you really wanted to, and mapping button inputs to controllers, it might be cumbersome, but if you really wanted that experience with the Z button not being a pain, I would probably just move it to those back triggers, because not a lot of GameCube games really require the Z button too often. I think the back triggers would work just fine. Save your $65, save the $40 from the Facecam, and go get 2 games. You can get 2 games probably on the eShop, no problem. The other things, there are 2 things that kind of fell into my lap that ended up getting pre-order, was the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con wheels. So for like Mario Kart World and a SanDisk memory card. I always get a memory card to stick into the Switch to add some more data storage to the system, because honestly guys, games are getting way too big. You're worried about not having enough space for digital games, just get it. Every game now has downloadable content. Every game now has tons of updates that happen day one. So I just go ahead, I bite the bullet, I get the storage. That should be something that you guys really should look into. The Wii, the only reason why I'm gonna call them the Wii Wheel, because that's what they really look like. The reason why I had to get those was because of the bundle that I got for my pre-order in Best Buy. It is what it is. I got them. You guys don't need to get them. I think it would be cool if, kind of like a Mario Kart Wii, if you played online with the Wii Wheel, it would show that you had a goal, that you are actually using the wheel icon by your player name. It would be cool if they brought that back. Maybe they already have brought it back and I haven't been aware of it. But just signaling if you're, because if you're good at tilt controls, that is much better than if you're just playing with a controller. Other than that, don't get that. Memory card, get it. All right, so let's talk about the games. I'm gonna try to breeze through them really quickly. I don't have a ton of opinion. I try and be a little bit blind. A lot of the stuff that happens in gaming these days is just, the news is all over the place in terms of leaks and all that kind of stuff. And I still like, when new games are coming out, I like to play on release date. I like to be surprised by what I see, and I try to stay away from some of the spoiler type of stuff. There's not going to be any spoiler stuff here. I'm just going to kind of talk about the games that I want to get. So I pulled up a list. It's just going to be for June. We're not going to dive into July or anything like that, just because we're going to try to keep it close to the launch date, because that's what you guys are, if you clicked on this video, that's what you're looking for. So we got a whole bunch of games. I think the only one everyone's gonna actually get, no matter what, is probably gonna be Mario Kart World. That is gonna be the launch title. That is gonna be a great game. I don't care what you guys say. It's been in the making for over a decade. Don't count the Switch Mario Kart Deluxe as a game, because they just remade it and released it on the Switch. This is a brand new game. Tons of cool features, open world Mario Kart, tons of new items, tons of new characters, tons of new costumes. Like, it's just going to be a very big game, and it's going to drive us to July. If you can be satisfied for just a month, you are going to be totally good. There's also going to be a bunch of third-party games, but that is I believe, in terms of Nintendo, that is the main Nintendo game launching. Other Nintendo things are like the Switch Welcome Tour, which might just be a gag. $10, you can get it or not get it. Like, it's not a big deal. Oh, I'm sorry. Mario Kart World is $80 physical, $50 if you get the bundle, and then it's going to be probably $75 digitally or something like that. A lot of the games coming out, which is kind of weird, is there's not a lot of new games. It's going to be a lot of games that are remastered or not as long. So I'll just briefly highlight some of the ones that I'm looking at right now. If you guys haven't played Bravely Default on the 3DS, it is a good Square game. The upgrades don't look very different from the 3DS, which is kind of weird, but it is a good game. If you like RPGs, you're gonna like that game. The characters are fun. The story's good. Not too worried about that, but it is. You can put some decent hours into that game, but I wouldn't call that like a brand new game. Cyberpunk 2077, big game. I would rather play it on something else, maybe like my computer or something. Not sure if I would want it on the Switch, but one of the nice things about the Switch is you take the games on the computer, you play it on the Switch. So, and at pretty good resolution this time too. So we all have to remember, when you're going through and you're thinking about getting the games that you want, everything's gonna look very good. So I don't think there's a bad game that you could get. It's just how much money you want to pour into getting the games. I would rather probably get some accessories, maybe a little bit more accessories than the games, just by looking at this list, but I'm not sure. Another racing game, Fast Fusion. I think it's supposed to be like Fast RMX, which I got on release of the first Switch. It was a fun game. I like that game. It's like F-Zero. It was cheaper, $15. I think it's like a no-brainer. If you like F-Zero, you're gonna like that game. Nintendo Switch Classics, which comes with a price, so in order to get the classics, you have to be part of the expansion pass. I have it. I can't wait to play it. And there's some other games on that list that we could talk entirely separately, like The Wind Waker, right? One of the best Zelda games to ever come out. Available on launch, which would be really cool. F-Zero GX, another one. Anyway, tons of cool GameCube games coming to that. So if you have the expansion pass, you get the GameCube games, plus you get the Nintendo Switch 2 edition games of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. Or just one. I believe it's both of them. Tears of the Kingdom, I still haven't finished it. My plan is to finish it on the Switch 2 edition, which will be really fun. I know the set piece is pretty fun. I haven't beat it yet. I don't know why. I just haven't gotten to that point, so I can't wait to go in with like all the new fidelity improvements, which it desperately needed, and play the game with all the new features in it, which would be pretty cool. Other than that, guys, a lot of the games are games that have already come out. Some I've already have. Sonic X Shadows Generations, another game that I would have gotten if the game didn't come out already, but I already have on my PS5. Split Fiction has already come out. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, which I'm pretty sure is just the same game as the regular one on the Switch. I was always interested in that game, but I'm not good at those color puzzle games where you have to line stuff up and things have to connect or fall properly. I am just not good at those games. I would recommend going budget-wise, maybe a little bit harder in the accessories. Starting out, get that nice foundation, get an extra Pro controller if you wanted to. That way when your friends come over later down the line, you already have enough controllers and you have comfortable controllers. As well as I think you can start saving money because down the line, you got Donkey Kong Bonanza, you got Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition, you got a whole bunch of games. We got the Pokemon Legends ZA, Hyrule Warriors, the Age of Imprisonment. We got a whole bunch of games coming out later in 2025 that I would be actively saving my money for. Anyway, guys, I hope you find this discussion kind of helpful. I know it was a little bit of me rambling on and on about kind of pre-orders and games and that kind of stuff, but I hope you all enjoy it. If you haven't already and you like this kind of video or this kind of content, remember to be subscribed to the channel. Leave a like and drop a comment down below on what you guys plan on getting for the Switch 2. We're only a month away. It's pretty exciting. Let me know what games you're getting, because I'm probably going to need, I told you I wasn't really going to go into many games, and what kind of games would you like to see videos on, especially with the new stuff coming out. A little bit of a personal thing, a little bit of a personal update is, if you will, before we end the video. Me and my wife have recently bought a house and we are going to be moving. So this background is going to change. That whole wall over there, the first thing that right there, the first thing that I really tend to do when we start moving is moving the collection. If you haven't seen the collection tour, you guys know I got a lot of stuff and I'm getting a little bit nervous because closing date's soonish. We should be all done with the closing, all done with the house, the paperwork, sometime in end of May, early June. And any videos that I make coming up are probably, you're gonna see stuff kind of in a mess. It's gonna be a mess. The teardown is gonna start after this video is already posted. Don't forget, I'm not going anywhere. I'm actually moving a lot closer to work. I've been driving 35 plus minutes there and back every day, so that's an hour of my time that I'm moving like 5 minutes away from work. So hopefully that's gonna help with time management, making videos. I'm excited. It's gonna take a little bit to get used to. I haven't really planned out the game room, haven't really planned out a lot of things. We're just going for it, we're just going and we're moving, so I'm excited. With that said, I'm gonna try my best to get videos up. Just don't count on me for the upcoming month until we can get situated. I can edit on my laptop, but it is absolutely a nightmare and I hate doing that. But for you guys, I will try. And yeah, so big stuff coming, room changing. This whole channel has kind of changed. And I like where we're going. I like all the support you guys have been showing and given to me on this channel. I feel very lucky that some of you guys actually like listening to what I gotta say. So anyway, I hope this video has helped you guys out. Thank you for watching the Average Joe Show. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.